The Keeper of Lost Things. In a town nestled in a valley where the fog slept like a lazy cat, there lived a young girl named Elara. She was quiet and observant, with eyes the color of twilight, and she had a peculiar hobby. She collected things that were lost. Not just any things. She didn't care for shiny coins or new toys. Elara collected the things that had clearly been loved. A single, blue marbled marble. A dog's chewed leather leash with no dog attached. A photograph, faded by the sun, of a couple laughing on a pier. She would find these treasures on park benches, tucked under bushes, or lying forlornly on the pavement, and she would bring them home to her room, which she called her sanctuary for the lonely. Her parents smiled sadly, thinking it was a phase. But for Elara, it was a calling. Each object hummed with a silent, sad song, and she felt responsible for them. One autumn day, she found the most special item yet. It was a pocket watch, but not like any she had ever seen. Its casing was made of a warm, coppery metal, and instead of numbers, tiny, intricate symbols were etched around its face. But the most remarkable thing was that its hands were perfectly, utterly still. It wouldn't tick no matter how she shook it. It felt heavy not with weight, but with silence. That night, under the glow of her lamp, she polished the watch. As her cloth rubbed over the face, a strange thing happened. The second hand gave a single, shuddering click. And for a fleeting second, Elara didn't see her room. She saw a sun-drenched kitchen, the smell of baking bread, and an old man's hands, warm and gentle, placing the very same watch on a windowsill. The vision vanished as quickly as it came. Her heart hammered in her chest. The watch wasn't just lost, it was waiting. This began Elara's quiet quest. She discovered that by polishing the watch and concentrating, she could make the hands move, each click granting her a ghostly glimpse of the watch's past. The old man, Arthur, laughing with a woman with kind eyes, him reading in a cozy armchair, him looking sadly at the watch as its ticking slowed. The story it told was one of a long, happy life, now tinged with a deep, recent loneliness. The suspense built with each vision. Where was Arthur now? Why was the watch so sad? The emotional depth of the memories made Elara's mission feel urgent. She wasn't just returning an object. She was trying to mend a broken story. Using the clues from the visions, a specific red door, a view of a clock tower from a window, she began to explore the older parts of her town. She asked shopkeepers and postal workers if they knew an Arthur. Days turned into a week, and she started to lose hope. The watch remained stubbornly still, its secret seemingly locked away forever. Then, on a cold, gray afternoon, she saw it, a house with a bright red door, and from its living room window, a perfect view of the town's old clock tower. With a deep breath, she walked up the path and rang the bell. The door was opened by a woman with tired, kind eyes, the very same woman from the vision, though now her face was etched with worry. "Can I help you, dear?" she asked. Elara, her voice small but steady, held out the pocket watch. I think this belongs to you." The woman's hand flew to her mouth. Tears welled in her eyes. "Arthur's watch," she whispered. "My father's. He said he lost it the week he had to move in here with us after he fell. He was so heartbroken. It was his father's before him. He said it stopped ticking the day he felt he'd lost his independence." She led Elara inside to a room where Arthur sat in a wheelchair, looking out at the garden. He was frilier than in the visions, his hands resting quietly in his lap. When his daughter placed the watch in his hands, his fingers trembled as they closed around the familiar metal. He didn't look at it right away. Instead, he looked at Elara. "You found it," he said, his voice like the rustle of old leaves. "I left it on the windowsill of my old house, hoping someone would see it. I was saying goodbye." Then he held the watch to his ear. A soft, hesitant tick-tock began to sound, growing stronger and more confident with each passing second. A slow, beautiful smile spread across Arthur's face, a light returning to his eyes that Elara had only ever seen in her visions. The watch hadn't been broken. It had been heartbroken. It had stopped for its keeper, and now, reunited, its heart began to beat again. Elara didn't just return a lost watch that day. She returned a piece of a man's soul, a link to his cherished past. She learned that some things aren't truly lost, they are just waiting for the right person to find their way back. And she understood, more deeply than ever, that her sanctuary for the lonely wasn't a final resting place. It was a compass, pointing lost things toward home.